Josh, what's going on here? Why is the studio lights off and only a blinking light on this monitor? Hmm. Little note here, right next to his Captain America coffee cup that is half empty and cold to the touch. Shut down, tripped the circuit breakers. All I have to do is turn them back on, reboot a few systems in here, telephone, secure doors, half a dozen others. Going to the maintenance shed at the other end of the compound. Be back in 3 minutes. No, this isn't good. He would have turned off the raptor fences. Oh well, I guess that means I get to do a few things here and there. All right, I'm just going to sit down here. He doesn't need to know what I'm doing. Key check space -0. Key checks off. Safety space -0. Turning off the safety systems again. I don't want anybody to see what I'm about to do. Now I'm going to just enter this one little thing here. White rabbit object. Whatever that does, it does it all. But with the key checks off, the computer doesn't follow the keystrokes. So the way for him to find out what I'm doing is to look through the computer's lines of code one by one. And there's about 2 million of them. This is what happens when you leave me alone, Josh. I do a solo interview. I'm interviewing some of the stars of Tales of the Void. Editor Dr. K and writer Chris Sager. I'm excited. Are you? All right, and today we have the editor of Tales from the Void and Transmissions of the Void, as well as Professor Emeritus Chris Sagers, Esquire the Third Richmond, I believe, is your full title, Mr. Sagers.
Yeah, you nailed it. Thanks.
Oh, perfect. I had it written down. But Chris, you and I know each other in person, as well as you are friends with my wife through a lovely community called the Pink Foam Brigade of Ardner Minis, and we've met each other a few times. And you just happened to name drop about a month and a half ago or so that, oh yeah, I have this side thing where I contribute to this lovely little monthly collection called Tales from the Void. It's kind of like a heavy metal-esque throwback, kind of like free, like indie collaboration thing. And I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting. And then I got in the mail a calendar, this wonderful calendar for this year that I do have up. It's currently to my right, which nobody can see because this is audio medium. And it's a 2026 bikini calendar of the contributors to Tales of the Void. And immediately I was hooked. And then it was like, okay, well, if they're doing this as like promo thing, what is this comic like? And I read the first 14 issues and listened to a few of the companion monthly podcasts, the Void from Transmissions, Dr. K, what is it called?
Yeah. The Void Transmission.
The Void Transmission, where you interview different contributors and like kind of talk about like themes and stuff of this month's release. And I absolutely love it. So now that I've talked up the magazine, the comic, a completely different question. What you doing? What do you do when you're not making like a goth 80s, 90s throwback retro comic? What do you do for fun?
Yeah, that's a good question. If you don't mind, Dr. K, I'm going to jump in. I do way too many things, really. Anything but work. Your introduction was spotless, except that it was virtually entirely wrong. I am a professor, not emeritus. I do still have a job. As a matter of fact, I teach in a law school in Cleveland, Ohio. But yeah, I do a bunch of other stuff, and I mostly try to avoid work. So I do, I do Dungeons and Dragons. That's kind of how I know Alex's spouse, who's truly awesome.
Oh,
Alex is almost good enough for her.
not nearly.
Funny thing, yeah. Funny thing is, I mean, this may be a little too complicated to get into, but her connection to me, our connection actually is the same connection I have with Dr. K. The it's a loose group of folks in southwestern Canada, basically do a variety of artistic activities. And the fella who started Tales from the Void, started our little comic project, that we're here to talk about is close with the other fella that started Pink Foam Brigade. So, Sean Smith of Ardner Miniatures started the Pink Foam Brigade. Your lovely bride and I are both proud supporters of the Pink Foam Brigade. And our friendly Mike is also part of that little group. Mike and Sean don't live quite in the same place, but they're both from Alberta, Canada, along with uh, Dr. K. And Tales from the Void was Mike's project, and Sean contributes. So there's a little community there that is a very fun group of people. Everything we do is gratuitous and kind of ridiculous, and will it bleeds money, and it always will. And we do it because we love each other,
Yeah.
uh, and we love the work we're doing. That was a long answer to your question, and it didn't capture it all. I mean, what do I do for fun? Like Dungeons and Dragons brought me to this group, but there's plenty of other stuff. It's all dorky and D&D adjacent, pretty much. Anyway, that's me talking for 10 minutes, and I'm sorry.
What about you, Dr. K?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what am I doing lately because it can kind of change by season. Right now, since spring is starting to come up, I've been doing a lot of work with gardening. So getting my seeds started for the garden for the summer because the season is so short here. You really have to start those seeds early. I've also been writing a lot of smut. That's been a really great hobby of mine right now.
We will come back to that. Yes.
Yep, since classes have been tapering down for the semester, so I've been spending a lot of time doing that. A lot of horror video games
Oh,
too. Yeah,
which
that's
ones?
been fun. I started playing Silent Hill F.
Oh, are you enjoying it?
I'm loving it. It's the first Silent Hill game I've ever finished.
Oh,
The first
wow.
time I ever played one, I don't know which one it was. It was I must have been in middle school maybe, and it was on the PS2. And some like little baby walked towards the character, and I said nope, and I turned it off, and I never played it again. But now I'm braver, so I can play it, and it's really good.
Oh, see, I've played Silent Hill probably about as long, and every year and a half or so, I'll go down to the basement and I'll grab my PS2 and I'll just play the Silent Hill 2, just because there's something about it that hits. And then um, I up until whatever the release was after 4, and it was very obvious diminishing returns. And then we have like a barren 15 years of just not unsupported releases or kind of quasi remakes. And so I've been so tentative to actually buy F, even though it's selling incredibly well. It's well received. I don't really want to buy the Silent Hill 2 remake because it's the the original is just so hard baked into me from 20 years ago playing it. But I hear it's great, and now you say you actually finished it. I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to play Silent Hill F.
I finished it, and now I'm on New Game Plus
Oh,
because there's it'll end differently depending on now the second time you play it through.
yeah, and famously, you have to go find the dog ending of every one of them because I think it was 2 that started an ending that if you did something weird, you would get a bizarre ending in which a dog was at a control panel secretly controlling everything, and they've included that in every release since of different ones.
I have heard it's a bit different than the
Mhm.
traditional Silent Hill games. Like, there's no guns or anything like that, and there's
Yeah.
not a lot of, like, hand-to-hand combat, but I kinda like that. Also, if local library my local library rents out video games.
Oh,
I don't
that's
know if
neat.
yours does, but that's a really good resource too for anyone. Local library.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, we'll get back to smut in a second. But Chris,
Yeah, I'll talk about
Chris,
smut. I consume it.
so Tales from the Void is it's a medium that you can express yourself in multiple ways. Dr. K, I really, really need you to start submitting your dream ones again because I noticed they haven't been in the last 5 or 6, and they're so bizarre that I'm like, these must be based off of real dreams. Are they?
No.
Oh, they're
No.
not, because they're bizarre little stories. I'm like, yeah, I can see that.
My dreams are bizarre. I have lots of weird dreams, and they're very cinematic.
Mhm.
But they're mostly just through conversations that I've had with people is
Oh,
where the
okay.
ideas come. Like
Huh.
a lot of ideas. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're called what, Dr. K's Memories or
Dreams. That's Dreamscapes is what we called them
Dreamcast.
first.
Hmm.
But I think the last couple of comics I submitted, I didn't put the header
Oh, okay.
also, so you might have caught another one.
And then, Chris, you joined, I think not episode, issue 4 or so, maybe 5.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
around. I was around before that. Helping out with the mag, but that sounds about right. My first story was in about issue 4.
Um, so before I get to my question for you, Chris, Tales from the Void is created by Chubbs Johnson and Friendly Mike, edited by Dr. K. There are links below, links to read the comic online, and you, as well as the Spotify,
Yeah.
link for the
The Void
transmissions.
Transmission.
Void transmissions. I will eventually get this right.
Sure. That's okay.
And I
House.
believe you say you guys are planning to start selling physical copies too, right?
Well, actually, it has been available in physical form since the very beginning. And again, that whole bleed money part. I mean, I don't believe that that's literally true, but it is a project that really it's the benevolence of Friendly Mike has made this thing possible, and he funds the production of a physical copy, and those have been distributed since the beginning. To the extent that we have a business end, that part of the business end is in some transition, and I think it's hazardous for us unless Dr. K knows better than I do. Probably hazardous for us to say exactly where it's heading. But it's always been available through to Patreon supporters in one way or another in physical form.
Okay, well, I will need to join that Patreon because
Oh yeah, please.
I read them at the Global Comics link, which I was able to read the first 14 of 16 for free, and
Yeah,
then they
good.
wanted me to join, and I went, "How dare you!" I will figure out how to get this thing physically. I'm a real fan of just having a physical copy. I just
Yeah, no. I get them.
yeah.
I've been getting them since issue 1, and I love having them.
Especially
They're
since the artwork is varies from artist to artist, but the theme is always kind of the same. It's black and white, black and white ink. There's not a whole lot of color. It's very visceral.
Mhm.
And then when you have stories like you, Chris, choosing like a different border for it depending on who is submitting it, and what I love about it is that there's no rhyme or reason per se as to what each story is, because there's the ongoing Mega City story,
Sure.
the ongoing Hell City story.
Mhm.
Kronk's Critical Misadventures pops up occasionally, which I love. Dr. K's Dreams are there. And then, Chris, every time I see your name pop up, I met you in person. We've had meals together twice
Yeah,
now.
that's
I
true.
have talked to you. I've
Uh-huh.
emailed with you. I have seen you on video. What the hell are you thinking with these stories?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Well, it's
one is
no, it's
it's
simple.
amazing.
Yeah, it's the drugs. I take them very seriously. I mean, if they come off strangely, I want you to say more about what you think about them, because I do take these very seriously. So, just by way of background for listeners, Tales from the Void is mostly a comic zine. I mean, it is an indie magazine on the model of heavy metal or other anthology comics, and so it carries short little either freestanding shorts or short installments of ongoing stories that are mostly told in comic form. I have always written prose stories, though, as my contributions to Tales from the Void, because that's what I want to do in life. I don't want to talk just about myself on this, but and candidly, it's not that interesting. But I mean, I'm kind of using writing for these stories that I write as sort of a like a literary apprenticeship. It's like this is a little opportunity for me. It seemed like when Friendly Mike first made this available, when he talked to friends about possibly submitting stuff to the magazine, it seemed like a special opportunity to me. I mean, it's a chance to get stuff in print in front of a list of readers and get their feedback. And it seemed like an opportunity to kind of teach myself how to do this. And I'm loving it. The content of the stories is maybe what surprises you a little bit. They're mostly horror stories. They're scary. Uh, they involve some violence and sort of dark themes and stuff. Um, that actually was kind of driven by the nature of the magazine. I mean, I didn't really know what to do going into the project, but I knew I wanted to do something for it. And when Mike first put out a call to his various friends, suggesting that we could contribute to this thing, I thought, well, I cannot personally draw as well as say Mike or many of the other contributors. And I'm very happy to say, by the way, that as this magazine progresses, the little stable of contributors who are uh, contributing already and probably will contribute more in the future is getting really impressive. I mean, there are some pretty awe-inspiring artists to me, humbly.
Please feel free to name drop.
What's that?
Please feel free to name drop.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm happy to do that. My favorite artists. I mean, it's hazardous for me to say this because I'll leave somebody out, and I really mean to cause no offense, obviously. But we have a big group of artists, and some of the people who dazzle me constantly are Paul Courtjohn, who writes. He's got a recurrent series that has appeared, and I think will appear more, called Slug Boy. Um, Slug Boy is a trip, and talk about stories that kind of freak you out a little bit. But another guy, and you will have seen his work quite a lot, is Lauren Wheel, who draws the Dairy Bears stories. A person named Allie Patrick has written various things, and she's a very interesting, funny storyteller. Um, so the folks who I'm especially excited about, who I may have this wrong, but I don't think they've appeared yet, but they will. Um, Include James Anthony. I should quit blathering. I wonder who Dr. K likes, but just a bunch of folks. All right. Anyway, the point of that though was I'm not in their league. I can draw a bit, and I do actually draw the art. Like that's hand drawn art on my stories.
Oh, those
Um,
borders are you?
yeah.
Oh wow, I thought that you picked like
Yeah, no,
to single out
no,
a
I
board because other
no,
people who
I made
submit
that.
stories have different ones. So I thought it was
I
just
made
kind of
that,
like
but
yeah. Huh.
so I can kind of do it, but I can't reliably generate in an efficient manner art of the caliber that I think deserves to be in our mag. What I thought I could do though is tell stories, and it seemed to me like, all right, if I wasn't married to doing horror stories. It just seemed like, well, if I'm not going to do comics in Mike's comic magazine that tends to have kind of a darker punk rock kind of theme, maybe I could write horror stories. So I started doing that. And um, the content comes out of nowhere. I can't really explain where it comes from. In my mind, the stories are philosophical in a way. Um, they attempt to convey ideas. Beyond that, I beats the hell out of me.
What about you, Dr. K? Who do you like that's been contributing? And you can feel free to exclude Chris if you want.
Well, I was gonna add that it's okay to say that Paul is our favorite because I think he is our favorite.
Well,
Paul
he's a goofball, and he writes
is,
crazy shit.
yeah. So Paul's
But he
the
also
slug
is an
boy.
extremely talented drawer, I think.
Yeah, and he was just our last guest on the Void Transmission. It's a weird episode, that one.
Why so?
Paul and I talked. We talked for 3.5 hours. Actually, I should
Oh
add that
wow.
first. We
Okay.
talked at length for a while. That's why I was laughing when you mentioned like putting out an episode that's just outtakes. It's like maybe I should just release the 3.5 hour episode for someone who wants to listen to it. But we kept talking about farts and just making a lot of real dumb jokes. And he kept talking about how he has a lot of trouble letting jokes go.
Yeah.
So when I was editing the episode, I somehow decided to replace all of my talking parts with farts. So rather than you just hear him talking to farts the whole episode.
It's unsettling.
We'll
But
need to catch
but
up to
it's
listen to that.
it's very fitting though because Paul is completely sophomoric. Like I mean, he's a little hard to capture in a word, but he's he's a nihilistic punk rock cynic whose sophomoric humor is it kind of serves a purpose, I guess. But farts are pretty much the theme.
And this is Paul
Farts
that
and
does Helltown?
no, Paul does like I said, Slugboy. He hasn't been in the
Slugboy, okay.
mag enough.
Oh,
I
okay.
think, and will be more. He is managing just a range of indie projects of his own. So a lot of
Oh,
his
okay.
stuff is, I mean, there's tons of it available online. He has been in he's been in Tales from the Void. I think with one episode of one short story about Slugboy, and then a very funny short about a talking sausage named Mr. Meaty.
Yes.
Pretty
I
funny. That's
got to
Paul.
that one and I was like, I don't get it. And yet I get it.
Yeah.
And it's only like 2 pages. I'm like,
Yeah.
I think I need to read it again. And then I got to, and I think I understood the moral, but I wasn't sure I understood it. So I read it a third time.
Yeah, that probably won't get better. Anyway, I hope we get more of Paul.
So yeah, you talk about like, it's very visceral and that like, it's mature and there's all this stuff in it. But at the same time, I love Drury Town, Sean Smith's little silly gothic love story.
Very kooky. Yeah.
It's kooky, it's creepy, it's fun. And the Goblin Quest for the Crown. I don't know who writes that one, but every time it pops up, I'm like, what is this goblin doing with her little frog army? I need to find out.
Those are good. That's from way back. Who was that?
That's Chubbs Johnson's now fiance, Keely.
Okay.
Well,
who also is an artist who just draws for fun.
Let them know I am a fan. I want to know what the end of this story is because, that's just kind of the way of it. It reminds me, it really does remind me of growing up in the 90s when you would be sent to the gas station to pick up a pack of cigarettes for your adult. And with the extra 50 cents, you would walk down the comic aisle and you would also be like, I will take a pack of those for the adults. You know who it is. And I will also take this random magazine I saw that I should not be reading.
Poor childhood.
Oh, they knew who the cigarettes were for. I never smoked any of them. I was just like 6 years old and I'm like, go pick me up another pack of smokes. I'm out. I'm like, okay. I will say, in case my mother ever listens to this episode, it was not you, Mom. It was also not the person you're thinking of. It's the other person you're thinking of.
By the way, a lot of the content that appears in the magazine and that you've mentioned is actually drawn by Mike.
Oh, really?
So Helltown and Megacity are both Mike's stories.
A lot of the one-page comics too from the beginning, because that was actually how Tales from the Void started. There was one rule: everyone gets one page.
Okay, that explains issue 1.
Yeah. And then it just quickly turned into everyone can do what they want, and Mike is there to support artists in that way.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's a startup project still. And so there's been a lot of evolution in the format and the goals and Mike's vision for the future. So I'm not like part of the managerial oligarchy, so I don't speak for this. But I have a feeling we probably will be heading towards a bit more longer form content.
Really? Okay.
I'm sure it will remain a variety magazine, but yeah, longer stuff.
Yeah, no, I really like how it is. It's punchy, some stories have ended, some have picked up. It seems like around, like I said, I'm up to issue 14, I think of 17.
Okay.
or 6.
I think
And
it just came out. Yeah.
and I like that. Like there seems to be staples like Mega City and Welcome to Helltown, or is it just Helltown?
Just Helltown.
Okay, sorry. I don't know why I'm adding Welcome to. I think this is the first panel says Welcome to Helltown, population 1,000.
Yeah.
16,661.
Yeah,
And then
right.
I'm
166.
like, oh, so yeah, okay.
Most of our symbolism is really very subtle, Alex.
It's so subtle, and so I like that. Obviously, I would love longer form because it seems like you guys have the hook in there in which right as there's like if something happens, it's 4 pages. So page 3 something big, page 4 looting,
Yeah,
and
yeah. Well,
next issue.
And you kind of feel like when the hook gets set, you really want to see that story in the anthology that will eventually come out, right? Like you want to see
Exactly.
the Helltown anthology and know the whole story. I mean, Dr. K and I have talked about this a fair bit. The length limitation for contributors, is it's frustrating in a way. It's like I would love to have more space. And I mean, when Mike first told me that I would only get 2 pages, I was aghast, and I thought that I wouldn't be able to do it. I thought I wouldn't contribute. I didn't think I could write prose stories that had any value at all that were only 2 pages long. But the limitation actually poses some upsides too. It challenges you to be creative. It challenges you to really think. And frankly, writing the stories, like for me, I've told this story too many times. But so Mike says to me, Chris, hey, I forgot to tell you, your horror stories are going to be great, but could you make them only 2 pages? And I thought I sat down and tried to think, and it's a small format. It's not 2 pages of 8.5 by 11, right? So I tried to guesstimate how many words I'd get, and I thought it'd be about 500. And I thought, I can't write a grocery list in 500 words. Like, this is ridiculous. But I realized that it imposes a discipline on you that, is like precisely what I happen to need as a journeyman, self-teaching learner. And this turned into like this really effective exercise to force me to try to tell a story that conveys an idea and makes sense with so few words, forces you to really, really carefully think, like every word has to count. You can't waste your words. And that just turns out to be an excellent exercise. Like I would like to believe that if I were a fine arts writing teacher, this is the kind of exercise I would give students to get them focused on the right things. After it dawned on me that this could actually be kind of valuable, I decided that not only would all the stories be 500 words or fewer, they're all exactly 500 words. Like literally with the title, they're precisely 500 words. And I want to do a ton of them. I would love to do a self-published anthology of these stories once I get them together. I want to do like about 50 of them. And this is, in my mind, this is what the literary apprenticeship is about. I mean, forcing myself to try to write interesting stories that many times, that are the length of a long email, is a challenge that is making me think hard about a lot of stuff. Anyway, the point of that, again, is not about me so much as the fact that all of us contributors have found this, I think, to be a useful challenge. It's an unusual, like, even heavy metal or any other anthology, those stories are typically much longer, even when they're told when they're serialized. Um, so, making it interesting and getting ideas across in such a short space is a healthy challenge for an artist. That said, I mean, I've always wanted to see longer form stories. I think the magazine will be better for it. To have that at least sometimes. And I hope it happens. I hope the magazine can get longer too. Like right now, it is a financial constraint of the print edition that it is. I believe every issue is 16 pages, which is not enough. I mean, I would love us to see us producing what's something more like a traditional magazine.
Well, then you need to lean on Ardner more.
Yeah.
I mean, he already has a 1-page or splash page, and he has a contribute,
Yeah.
a little thank you and the Legion of
I kind
Honor.
of wonder if he even pays for that. I don't know if you made this connection, Alex, but that's Sean who writes Dreary Town.
No, because all I knew is Ardner. To me, Ardner's name is Ardner.
Yeah, well, it's not.
I mean,
It's not. He's Mike's good friend and mine as well. and also Dr. K's Sean Smith.
See, I hate things like that because in my head, like this person who I've talked to numerous times over the years, who has made me and my wife multiple pieces of D&D terrain,
Right.
who I chit chat with, who made my DM tower that I sit behind and mock people when they roll poorly from.
There you
I
go.
did not realize I was a fan of him in this. Now, to hide my embarrassment, Dr. K,
Sure.
Yeah.
what is it like wrangling people with multiple names like Ardner Sean Smith? What is it? What is the editor of Tales from the Void and Void Transmissions? What is your driving focus?
Honestly, I thought Sean was someone else for a long time. I
We're a
also
we're a well-oiled machine up there.
because there's just Sean, but then there's also um Old Crow.
Well, Old Crow, whose real name is Chris, and everybody thinks he's me.
And then there was you, yeah, and I thought you were all like the same person for like
Yeah.
a while.
White man, it's hard to tell us apart, I know.
Yeah, I know. That's what, because I met a lot of you at ArdCon last summer, and whenever I ask Mike, I'm like, "Who is that again?" He's like, "It's the old white guy," and I'm like, "They were all old
Yeah,
white
right.
guys." So yeah, not easy. The Discord helps a lot.
Mhm.
Having the Discord there is really, really helpful, especially for reaching out to people. We've had a couple people kind of come and go, but luckily I'm able to track them down on Instagram. So that's also been helpful. I've had to get on Instagram, which I don't love, but I guess you do the things you have to do. Um, I don't know. I think working in academia has prepared me well for that. You deal with a lot of emails, you deal with a lot of reaching out to people.
Yeah.
Hey there.
Oh.
What?
Whoops, it don't.
What are you watching?
I was supposed to hit that
Right,
button.
Alex is watching on anime. 'cause
I
he's
was
bored
supposed to
with us.
hit that button for what you're doing before I asked you the question. And I adjusted the screen slightly and hit the play button.
No.
It's funny though. I'd love
Damn
this this question of like how do you wrangle the people? What's the little community like? We're a year and a half into the project, but it's still very much a process in development. It's a startup organization, or so it feels to me. And one of the most exciting things about it is the folks who are drifting in. Much more often than not, they stay and they don't drift out again.
Nice.
Which is nice. And we have a very nice little internal community of folks. And we're still figuring out who we're going to be, what the product is going to be. To some large extent, it really is Mike's project. So it's like what the project is going to be is what Mike thinks it's going to be, but or what he wants it to be. But we're all kind of thinking together about how to make it better. Mike has been talking a lot about how 2026 is going to be our year, which means we're getting it out there. We're doing stuff like this. We made a swimsuit calendar of ourselves to alienate the entire world. But the goal I think is to make a product that's bigger and better and sort of ready for prime time. And we're getting there. But anyway, that depends quite a lot on the people who are coming in and what they want to do. They all have their own ideas about what to contribute, obviously, and it's pretty exciting to be part of that.
Yeah. Mike and I, multiple people who are contributors to the comic have reached out to us to ask how they can help with the project. And I've also noticed, like speaking with people one-on-one, that people are talking with other people. They're connecting with other people in the group, trading comics, trading ideas,
Yeah.
Nice.
showing a lot of great evidence of this amazing community that
Yeah.
Mike's brought together.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in a lot of directions are hard to predict, but I mentioned, for example, that the print distribution, production and distribution of the print edition, will probably be changing I don't know how. Again, I'm not privy to that necessarily. But a contributor that I mentioned, Lauren Wheel, who does Dairy Bears, um, he like Paul Courtjohn, he really has his own outfit, his own independent comics production outfit going. He's got a lot of projects in the fire, but one of them is a startup um, comics publishing entity
Nice.
called Dairy Comics, and it's small now. It's getting going. It's conceivable Tales from the Void will be distributed in some form by Dairy Comics. Um, Possibly not. But members of the group, well, Paul Courtjohn, for example, does in fact distribute his own comics through Dairy Comics. Some of them, and that connection happened around our water cooler at Tales from the Void, and they're not the only ones. Um, and Mike and I and others are kind of like constantly working to try to get new folks to come in. Whenever I see on social media an artist that I like, uh, I gin up my courage and I have a drink and I send them a cold, private message on Facebook or whatever, and try to get them to come be friends with us. And I get ghosted a fair bit, but sometimes they say yes. And um, the swimsuit calendar, by the way, which I would love to talk more about because I'm self indulgent. Um, was great for opening doors that way. Like, it's one thing to email another artist who, in almost all cases, will be more prominent and experienced than I am, and say, "Hey, we have this little project going on. Would you like to be part of it?" If that's all you can do, 9 times out of 10, people get a lot of requests to participate in indie projects like this, and so it's hard to interest them. But if you can email them and say, "Hey, look at these pictures of this freaking calendar I made," which is ridiculous, and all the pictures in it are drawings that we did of each other, most of which are, like, absurd, like, the drawing of me for March is me as if from the neck down, I'm Conan the Barbarian, which was sort of predictable, but pretty funny. Uh,
I'm looking at it right now, and
yeah,
I
right.
gotta say it's a 1-to-1 likeness. I've seen you, when
It's
we've
not.
mhm. Oh,
Um,
it's not?
no,
Mm,
no,
you're
no,
being
I don't
too hard
actually.
on yourself.
Yeah, I don't actually have, muscles.
Oh,
So, but anyway, so, I think the fact that it was quite tongue in cheek and, self-effacing and very fun and, sort of self-evidently a project of people who like each other and were having fun together, that really gets people's attention. So if, I've sent the calendar to a whole bunch of folks that I thought were great, kind of out of our league artistically, but if we could get them to contribute, it'd be fantastic. So I called him up and said, "Hey, do you want this calendar?" And, that worked like a charm.
no, it worked on me because 'cause I'm like, "Okay, what is this
Yeah,
thing and what's going on with
right,
this?"
and who are these freaks who did this? Hey, let's draw each other in swimsuits.
Yes, and now actually looking back on it, I didn't realize how many of the sketches that you contributed. You're being a little
Yeah,
hard on yourself that you're not an artist, Chris.
well, I appreciate that, obviously. Um, there is a difference between I humbly believe, between being able to draw, which, by the way, I firmly believe in anyone really anyone could do. Like, I believe almost everyone can do it better than they think. But there's a difference between that and being able to sort of efficiently turn out, content. Like those drawings in that, I mean, I buried an absurd amount of time into the calendar project. It was truly ridiculous. Um, and if you wanna produce a monthly comic installment, you gotta be a little more sophisticated than I am, I think.
How many hours?
Countless. I mean, seriously, I started drawing, partly I did so many drawings because we just didn't have that many volunteers, right? So it was gonna be left to me. Calendar was kinda my idea. Mike said, "Hey, Chris, you make this happen." So it was on my shoulders, and the question of how many pictures I drew was the question of how many people, um, how many months are unfilled by other volunteers. So I think I wound up drawing like 4 drawings, 4 months worth of pictures and the cover. Um And I think I started that like in July. And the calendar I didn't start shipping calendars until January.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so months.
I mean,
And that's only 4 drawings. I
abs
mean,
are
these
hard to get the abs
yeah.
right with the right airbrushing.
Yes. Yes.
So you're gonna start in August for the next
Yeah, that'll be better. I don't know. I mean, no one, thank God, has started talking about, a 2027 calendar.
Oh, you've
Uh,
heard it here first. 2027 calendar
I think it might
will
happen,
be a
but
yearly edition, at least 4, maybe
it
5
was
months
it'd
drawn by
sure be
Chris.
nice if more people drew pictures.
I mean, like some of them are just really, like I would love to see myself drawn as somebody like a
Yeah,
Warhammer 40K
totally.
Marine. That would be amazing.
I mean, what I loved about the project was, first of all, when this came up, I approached people and, like, bent over backwards saying, just to be clear, nobody has to be drawn in their swimsuit. Like, that part
Yeah.
is tongue in cheek. It's in quotation marks. It's a swimsuit calendar, but I mean, no one's gonna be made to feel uncomfortable by how they're drawn. Um, and I assumed that contributors who might be most concerned about that would be our female colleagues. And irony is that the 2 people who actually appear in bathing suits are 2 women who drew each other. It was their idea. Uh, but what I thought was fun and enriching, and I really enjoyed it, was to see how people who liked each other sort of envisioned their friend. Like, how am I going to capture my friend in sort of a comic style or a dork literature style, D&D adjacent, whatever,
Yeah.
that captures them. And there were some really, really lovely thoughts. Our friend, Dr. K mentioned Old Crow, one of our contributors. His online handle is Old Crow. And Old Crow drew me, and he does these lino cuts, prints, and he did me as this sort of old dad who went to the beach. But there are Lovecraftian tentacles coming out of a portal to hell
Yeah.
to grab me. And I don't know. I mean, I just thought that was a very sweet thing that he sort of envisioned this art that this fan verse that he loves, and he put me in it. And that's
Oh,
how most of those drawings are.
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I just think it's great because it's kitschy, but it's also it also made me interested. Like, okay, why are these people drawing each other? And then, of course, the splash page, the cover of it, it has all the characters that have been throughout
Yeah.
all these issues and stuff like that, which I didn't know what any of them were, but I was like, well, I want to know why there's a little teddy bear that kind of looks like a rogue on there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And, then you have the giant sausage in the back. That's an anthropomorphic
Yeah.
sausage there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, huh, all right. This is going to be a bizarre trip.
Yeah. Now, did you
Uh,
happen to look at the back cover, Alex?
Actually, let me see. Oh, hey.
There's a little guide. So the front cover is a whole bunch of humans
Mhm.
with a handful of comic characters.
Yeah.
The anthropomorphic sausage is the aforementioned Mr. Meaty. The teddy bear is one of the many dairy bears by Lauren Wheel, and the little guide on back explains that. So yeah, I drew that cover picture, and it was like, I mean, again, that was like a real sort of little labor of love. It's like the I did my best to draw the many contributors, and then I drew a bunch of their characters along with us.
Oh, neat. I did not look at the back.
See,
I feel slightly ashamed now. So, Dr. K, as editor emeritus of this magazine, comic anthology, do you like pick certain themes for the month or, wrangle people that you like, oh, this will flow well? Like, what is your thoughts on, having your own podcast with Void Transmission and being editor of the magazine?
I should mention, when we say I'm the editor, that's, like, in title only.
It's in every issue. It says
I
edited by
know, it's
Dr.
crazy,
K.
right? It's crazy. I'm just along for the ride.
Well,
Yep.
Okay.
I where I do help. Have you ever seen the show Dance Moms?
Yes.
Okay, so
Unfortunately.
yes, right, yeah, Chris, Dance Moms?
Dance balls?
Moms.
Moms.
Old man. Oh, Dance Moms. No, I've
Dance
not.
Moms with
That
Abby Lee
sounds up my
Miller?
alley. No.
Okay, well, it's a show it's like a reality show that follows dance moms. It's the moms that have their little girls in dance competitions, and it's at a studio run by this very inappropriate woman, who ranks the children every
Oh,
episode in a
Jesus
pyramid.
Christ.
And so
Yeah.
the one who does the best, who's always Maddie, she gets the top of the pyramid, and then she ranks the rest of them and their little girls.
Sure.
She's doing this to them. And so I always rank everyone in a pyramid for Mike.
Do you really?
No, I do. In our heads, we do.
I
That's
don't
about
know.
it. That's about the
Yeah.
most that I'm doing there.
Yeah.
I mean, that can't really be true. In fairness, production really is mostly Mike's doing. Like he absolutely assembles the magazine and posts the online version and arranges for the physical production. But we do share some editorial duties. I think Dr. K and I both have done some editing. When other prose stories come in, I have provided aid, and I enjoy that very much. But the magazine, for now, I mean, again, here we are in startup land, still figuring out what we're going to do with this garage band. So for now, there is no top down direction of content. Like people are invited to submit. We have sort of a small group of core contributors, and what they submit is usually what we get. And Mike ultimately decides what gets into the magazine. We're not really mostly turning stuff away right now, so far as I know. And so that just isn't really a problem. I mean, we've got good contributors. We like what they do. And so when it comes in, it makes it in the mag.
I will say I do help him with one thing. I tell him where to put commas, and there's like a 50-50 chance he's going to listen to me.
I remember this is one time years ago. We were at this tech company that I worked for. We were making kind of like a blog-ish section, but not really. It was just more like accumulating some ideas for stuff. And after the first few we put out on the website, one a person from a different department said, "I'm copywriting you guys from now on." And we're like, "Okay, that sounds great." And he says, "Because you're comma stupid." You put commas where they shouldn't be, and then you don't put commas where they're supposed to be. And we're like, "Really? How would you know?" And he went, "I went to journalism school." Just because you're thinking doesn't mean you put a comma. It's supposed to be actual thoughts, not your thinking. I'm like, "Oh, okay. I'm sorry." So we went to a video format because we were making him too mad. Thankfully, or unfortunately, or whatever, when that company went away, they purged all the videos off of YouTube, and it's all gone. So you don't get these really awkward, rambling statements from my colleague and I, and of course, our poor writing is gone. But yes, I know what it's like to get that feedback of like, you need commas, and then you don't need them. Yes, unfortunately, I am a fan of the Oxford comma anywhere I want.
No, I'm getting so angry.
Well, let's bring you back to a topic that perhaps won't make you angry. What kind of smut do you write?
Mostly furry
It's
stuff.
it's all
That's
right.
fine.
I think furries are interesting.
Mhm.
Actually, I was just talking to Mike about, from Sonic the Hedgehog,
Mhm.
Rogue,
Oh, Jesus
Mhm.
Christ.
or Rouge the Bat.
Mhm.
She's hot, right?
Oh.
Yeah, I guess.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Does that mean we're furries? I don't know.
Hey, I come from I come from a day and age in which Maid Marian from Disney's Robin Hood
yeah.
Oh, sure.
is a sexy fox. Lola Bunny is a very sexy bunny.
Yeah.
The Lion King, Nala
George Crumb, Robert Crumb famously said that cross-dressing Bugs Bunny turned him on when he was a little boy.
I could see that.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So you write Rouge the Bat Smut?
No.
Okay.
Probably eventually, once I hit all the fandoms up. Some of it is fan fiction. Some of it, I will say, is within different like worlds that already exist, and then some of it is just like original character completely.
Mhm.
It's it's hard for me to say too much
That's
because
right.
no one can ever read this and associate it with me because it's so filthy.
No, that's right. Do you publish it on an archive of our own?
I do. Yes. Yes, I do. And I won't say
I am so interested.
it's on there, and
Hey, you don't need to release
people are
your
very
handle.
interested.
Yeah,
No, that's never no.
Oh,
I
okay.
think I would stop dropping breadcrumbs if I were you, Matt. There was a Cleveland. Did I tell you this? There is an author in Cleveland who's written a series of very well-selling, independently published through Amazon erotic stories, but they're of the ridiculous genre.
Yeah.
It's like they are. I believe I'm assuming it's a woman. The big hit is something called like Morning Glory Milking Farm,
Yes. No, I heard of that.
and the male love interest is a bull,
Yep.
is a guitar.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
Pasiphae and the bull. And that person is in Cleveland, and it's been suggested that it's me, but it's not.
Why do you see your camera just shifted? I saw Amazon million seller right
Right.
behind you.
Oh, it's not me. If I do have tenure, but I don't think I would come out to writing cow smut, but I really would not do that. I have some very literate women friends. I don't know why I assume it's a woman, but it just seems like it would be like the sort of those interests, like the crazy fantasy interests, or
Yeah.
sex with mythological creatures and so on. Do seem to be women authors, and I have some pretty literate women friends who are in Cleveland, and they all claim it's not them.
Isn't it also something like the Eiffel Tower? Like people who have a sexual attraction to objects,
It tends to be women, yeah.
right? Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, the Eiffel Tower, I guess, makes sense. Right?
That is ambitious,
Hey, anything if you're brave enough.
right?
Yeah, it's fun. I started it last summer.
Hey, there's nothing
I
wrong
was
with it.
sick
Mhm.
and in bed, and I've always like okay, so this is something I do to fall asleep at night.
Yeah.
I'll like create like scenarios, like romancy type scenarios, and like play them out in my head.
Sure.
And then like the next night, I have to like retell where I was and then continue the story.
Oh my
And you
gosh.
can do that with anything, but it helps fall asleep.
Yeah. No,
What a great idea.
I lucid dream, and
No.
when I am writing and I start the editing process, what often happens is when I'm asleep, I will edit what I wrote the previous day, and then when I wake up, I will then do my edits and keep on going from where I left off. So, like, I'll just do the edits right away, and then I'll just write to wherever I'm getting to, go about my day, working, whatever, and then when I fall asleep, I will wake up having edited the previous day's work. It is bizarre, and I hate it when it happens, but I love it as well because that means I've actually hit a good flow, that I'm writing well, that I know where things are going, that I'm progressing. But at the same time, I wake up slightly exhausted.
Mm.
That's yeah, you're like those birds that sleep with half their brain at a time.
Oh, it's terrible because if I don't immediately get to it in the morning, I will have forgotten most of the edits. But I will be there. I'm like, oh yeah, it's a good. Because in my dream, because I'm lucid dreaming, I'm like, okay, that's a good point. Yeah, I really like that. Look, okay, yeah, that's how I really should restructure that part of it. Okay, that looks good. I wake up, everything's ready to go. But I'm like, was that really restful?
Mm.
What kind of smut do you write?
I d- um, it's not smut. It's urban romance. I've actually been editing. I'm currently in third edits of a character. My wife was running a D&D game, and she was going to give extra experience because to anyone who wrote a backstory that was like more than 50 words. And several of the other players at the table had not played before, so she was kind of like incentivizing them with inspiration and stuff. I sat
Sure.
down to write my character's backstory, and I kept writing it, and it got to about 50,000 words. And so I'm looking at this backstory, and I was trying to just because my wife creates these very very deep, like I'm really a pantser when I'm running. Like I have like maybe like a 2-page outline of like where we're going to the next part, and I kind of have an end game in mind. My wife, however, the entire world has to make sense. Like if she introduces an NPC, she has to have a real backstory for them. And so she will come up with that later to make things fit, especially if she needs to bring it back, even if they're never coming back. So she described to us the world and what was starting. And so I'm like, okay, well, for my character to be here, then from the part of the world they need to be with is from over here. And so how did she get from A to B? And what is this tragic backstory? Because I rolled for some things like, oh, she was accused of murder, but she didn't do it, and some other stuff. And so I'm writing this out. It's supposed to be just really brief, and it just kept going and going. And so now I'm on my third sets of edits of it, and it's completely useless to anything related to what is actually happening in her story that we're playing, except I have this in-depth backstory of lost love and betrayal and this, and then she's like, and I came up with this like city that this all happening, and she's like, I'm actually going to pilfer that for her for the next song.
I mean, it's pretty fun, right? Like in role playing, tabletop role playing, like the work you do by yourself away from the table, at least for some of us, is a lot of fun.
Oh yeah,
Half the hobby.
no, I loved it. And yeah, so that's the one I'm currently working on. But no, I have a different one that is more urban romance, which is what my wife and some of her friends really read. The whole, like secretly there's vampires and werewolves and minotaurs. And that one, because I like to have things be somewhat scientific basis. I suddenly forgot the name of it, but that's on the back burner. I'll probably get to it next year. That you can have that genetic disposition that if you're too long in the sun, you start like burning and getting like
Oh yeah.
and cancers and stuff like that. I was like, okay, what if vampirism is just like an aggressive form of that? And I have that story like 3/4 of the way done that I need to return to. But I do get feedback from them because apparently my audience is female readers, so I'll give it back to them, and I'll get feedback like he needs to be more smoldering. There needs to be more tension between them. I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, no, 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 no. Like here, read this smut, and then you'll understand what. So
Research.
yeah, so they recommended some books, some like smut for me to read. And so last summer we took a trip, and because we share Kindle libraries, my wife and I just saw a cover and I clicked on it, and I was like, I don't remember buying this. Turns out she had loaned it from the Kindle lending, and I looked at her and went, "Is this one of yours?" And she said, she went, "Sweetie, that's too aggressive for you." And I went, well, now I'm going to finish it. And I did. It was a 6-hour flight, and I finished it, and I went, you read this? And she went, oh, there's a series. Josh is going to edit all of this out.
Right.
This has nothing to do with
The time you spent in the airplane bathroom, he can just cut that.
Exactly. Speaking of smut, Chris, what is the meaning of the transcription? I have read this 4 times. I love it.
Yeah, sure.
I hate it.
I'm glad. I'm
disgusted by it. I'm enthralled by it. I can't tell if this is based on a true story, other than the fact that I'm pretty sure you're not a woman.
Certainly not. No. That an interesting question is what basis in fact any of them have.
Yes.
So I published, I think about 10 stories in the mag so
Hmm.
far. Like I said, I'd like to do about 50. And so far, really only one of them has any basis in fact. One of them is a little bit autobiographical. Otherwise, they're total fantasy. Okay, so the transcription. I mean, let me say this.
It's from issue 4,
Yeah,
and it is a very fascinating little story about a female couple. They're in love, but it's slightly abusive, but it is very romantic.
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't tell if I
It's
like it or not, but
well.
I
Listen,
keep
I
reading
mean,
it.
listen. So this is a very interesting moment between you and I, Alex,
Mhm.
and raises an issue that Dr. K and I have talked about, including on the Void Transmission, which is I wonder as a creator, writer, how important it is for me to know or control what people are going to get out of the story. You know, in reading stories, especially prose stories, as a reader, at least I feel a pressure, maybe an obligation. I feel like what I'm supposed to be doing is figuring out what the author intended. And I definitely had an intent in that story that it sounds like you didn't take. Like it didn't come through because it's definitely not a true story. And also the person who it's very funny. I wonder I wonder if anybody gets the story as I intend it. But I'm a little torn about whether to really say what I had in mind when I wrote the story.
Yeah, see, I'd rather you not, because one of the things that, like, I absolutely despise about some authors is that when they circle back around and they basically look at you and go, "You got the wrong message. I actually intended this."
All right, I'll keep it to myself then.
And then the fandom is like, "Aha!" Like, a third of the fandom's like, "Aha, I knew it." The other third is like,
Well,
I'm offended." And the middle part is like,
yeah.
"Yeah, I guess that makes sense."
One I'll tell you what, Alex, one thing I absolutely have going for me is that I will never have a fandom and they'll never be angry at me. Um, but I'll say this. In writing these stories, like as I said, it dawned on me I would like to get a collection of these together and republish them as a book, as an anthology, and just sell it on Amazon or whatever. Um, but it occurred to me since the exercise for me is very much it's like a writer's little chapbook kind of thing or commonplace book in which these are my experiments. These are my teaching exercises that I've tried to use to self teach. And I imagine each one of them having a little idea contained within it. I know what the idea is. And it dawned on me what might be kind of interesting is for somebody to write that book and then include an appendix
Mhm.
in which for each of the 50 short stories, the author says, by the way, here's what I was thinking. And the reason that occurred to me to do that is because that would be an important exercise for me as well. And the whole thing so far has existed as I say, sort of an exercise for me. So it's like, would it be interesting and would it be self-defeating? Would people hate it? I don't know. To write your 50 stories and then say, hey, you don't have to, but if you want to, you can go look at the appendix where I explain what I think is the idea in each one of these stories.
I think that'd be
Um,
cool.
yeah, and like that whole because one thing that's very interesting to me and that runs through all of these stories as I've written them is what is the relationship between the author and the reader? What is the author's role? Why do authors do this? Authors do something, are doing this for a reason that I think is quite different from the reason that we also are readers. Like when you read a story, you're doing it for a different reason than the author who wrote the story. But what are those roles? That's all very interesting to me. And it's sort of part of that might be captured in a way if an author wrote a bunch of stories and then told you if you got what they were thinking.
Yeah, I think that would be interesting. My thing is more like the author telling you the moral of the story is supposed to be this, and it's like, well, but that's not what I got out of it. And
Yeah,
sometimes what I got out of it is far
sure.
different and is more meaningful than perhaps they were intending. And
Well,
I like
sure.
things like, yeah.
Yeah, sure. I
And
mean,
so that's
so
why,
that's
like,
that's good for
I'll
me
be,
to know.
yeah. Yeah, because like I'm not angry about the transcription. I actually
Well, I'm mad as
like
hell. I'm kidding. Um,
I really like it. I was just
I'm
like, it
I'm
was
really
so
glad.
unexpected.
So
Yeah.
let me say this. with I will neither bloviate nor tell you how you're supposed to read this or anything like that. And I also won't give away what I think is the important content. But I will say,
No.
Until the appendix.
Put on mute us for a little bit, and then Chris can tell me.
oh, okay. I'll say this. The in the story, first of all, the protagonist, the narrator.
Mhm.
All right. So as Alex said, this is a couple. It's a story about two people who've had sex that day.
Mhm.
And as Alex says, it's kind of abusive. The person other than the narrator, it's a power dynamic for sure, and that person is arguably a little violent or expresses to the other person they should engage in self-harm.
Yeah.
The narrator is pretty clearly certainly an educated person. Like she quotes this sort of elaborate story that's kind of a smart person's old story. And she talks about it. And it also sounds like she is a creative type, right? So she's this intelligent person who apparently is a writer. And a theme in the story is this writer is racing to write something down. Right? That's part of the story. She wants to write something down. And that little literate story that she quotes was about someone who also tried to write something down that they experienced in sort of a dream state, right?
Yeah.
So the story is about this problem of trying to remember your inspirations and writing them down. But also the this awkward insecurity that you might feel when you're racing to write something down that seemed like a great idea. The insecurity is, was that actually a good idea or did it just feel like it?
Yeah.
All right. So that's what the story's about.
Like I said, I really like it. Like I love
Okay.
stories that I
That
can
makes me really happy.
that I can come back to.
You know, when you started this show by saying, what the fuck is wrong with you, Chris? Like, I wondered if you're talking about that story, because that is the one, I mean, that one has sort of explicit sex in it.
Yeah.
It's the only one I've ever written like that. That's the one I'm always ashamed to send to beta readers, Others are violent, but, different. Anyway.
So I put each copy of Tales from the Void, each new one, on my office door at work. Issue 4 is the only one that's gone missing.
That's because it's got a strap on.
Yep. The only one.
Ooh, and as a matter of fact, did you notice the drawing in that one, Alex?
Yeah.
Like, again, I do the drawing.
I did.
I told that was actually, I believe, the third story of mine that was published in Tales from the Void. And I was worried about it. And I emailed Mike like more than once. It just said, so are you okay with me drawing a giant black cock? The little incidental drawing there is, in fact, a strap-on.
Yeah.
That is referenced in the story. And he was cool with it. My teenage son saw it.
Yeah.
That's he was cool with it too, though. He's sort of like, I don't know if it made him think I was cool or anything, but he's like, you do you, Dad.
Oh. You said this year that you because you got about 16 or 17 issues out.
Yeah.
It's a monthly release, right? Or yep.
Yeah.
And physical copies are available currently only through Patreon.
So initially, they were distributed to Patreon members through Etsy, which I think that has some challenges. I think as a distribution method, and in particular because Mike is just doing this work as himself. It's not very many copies going out to the world right now as we get our feet under us. So like Mike literally packages these and addresses them and mails them himself, right? So it's a very small operation. The physical copies absolutely are still available to Patreon members. Again, it's on a pretty informal basis. I think Mike might actually just keep your address on file once he gets it and ships it to you. I think there will be some more formal distribution though coming. And I have a feeling Mike is pretty personally committed to continuing a physical copy. This is sort of an old school nostalgia project of his own early love. So I think this is probably going to be in a paper edition forever.
Love it.
Yeah, and more details on where it will be available in the future.
What do you two got going on for the rest of the year? Just Tales of the Boys related, or in your personal lives? I mean, are you both going to ArdCon?
I will be at ArdCon, absolutely.
Oh,
You and Liz should come and join us. I'll run a game you can play.
well,
I'm bringing a table full of terrain.
if you had just said that to begin with, we would have booked already.
Yeah.
Which I believe ArdCon is second week of June, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. In Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
For him not being on this, we sure have been like touting his Patreon and his community a lot. Will you, Dr. K, will you be going to ArdCon this year?
I should be there. I have no plans not to be there.
Are y'all both taking the summer off to do something fun?
Yeah, no. I'm taking the summer off to do a bunch of stuff that's not fun. That's a lousy interviewee answer, but yeah, I mean, I do have a real job, so I am a college teacher, so I do have a pretty beautiful life. But in the summer, sometimes there is drudgery work to do, so that'll be me. But I am making D&D terrain as well, and going to Canada to roll dice and kill shit.
I want to learn how to tile.
Ah! like floor tiling, or
Oh yeah, all the
really?
tiling. My hope is that I will have my first house bought by summer, and I will have the
Yay!
summer to work on it and do stuff and make it weird.
Oh,
Nice.
congratulations!
That's I'm gonna go see one tomorrow.
Oh,
I've seen a few so far.
That's awesome.
I'm very excited.
I'm hoping that I actually finish edits on my book so that I can self-publish it.
nice.
I am very excited about it. It would be my first self-published, well, not adult, but like, um, a few years back, one of our friends had a kid, and they asked for us to just like write a little note in this book for her, and I wrote like a little set of quatrains.
Aw.
And one of my friends read it, really liked it, thought it was like a real beautiful set of poems, and she did the artwork, and we printed a book, through like Barnes and Noble print, and gave it her. And then a few other people saw it, and so we printed like 30 copies and gave that away. So I have that, and now she's 3, and she's learning to read, so she actually is reading it and actually has asked for it a few times. It was nice. So I'm like, so I'm hoping to have my second self-published book. I don't have it. The first one I don't have for sale anywhere. We just printed a bunch of little copies. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cute, and I was like
Okay.
overwhelmed because my friend did artwork for it. Because she didn't even tell me she was doing it. She's just like, "Oh, can I have a copy of that?" It was like really pretty little thing. And then one day she handed it to me, and I started flipping through these drawings, and I was like, it took me to like the third or fourth page before I went, wait a second, I wrote this. And then everything hit for me. But yeah,
Nice.
that's what I plan on doing. Finishing my character's D&D backstory. That's a book. And I will let you both read it, and you guys can judge me on if it's good enough or not good enough for smut.
All right. Can't wait.
Yes, please. And also, if you're looking to publish more poetry,
Mhm.
feel free to check out Tales from the Void.
Yeah, send it to Mike.
Oh, yes. Actually, I can't believe I've gone this long without mentioning. Yes, you both have mentioned reaching out to people, or people reaching out to you, and not realizing that, yes, you guys are building a community, that you are building this freelance hobo chic collection of
Right.
people who love writing, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I think we should put a plug in for that. Tales from the Void absolutely welcomes contributions. The format is generally speaking 2-page stories.
Mhm.
Serialized content has been carried. All are welcome. Submissions are not paid for. I mean, we're a garage band. But if you're looking to get your stuff out, and if you want to do it with a like-minded group of people who do what they do because they love working together, we're there for you.
Yeah.
Link in the show notes.
Yeah.
Street flags, please.
Now, do I have to add curse words, or can it be like a sweet little story?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it's not like I struggle to answer the question, do you have to add
No,
curse words? What seems like a good
no.
question to me is why the nature of the content does tend to seem to be rough, but that just sort of goes with the territory.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I'm teasing because
I know.
I love like the Dairy Bears and the Gothic story one and like the
Yeah,
Goblin Crown. Because it is such a juxtaposition where you have like on one page you have like this silly story about bears that
sure.
eventually builds to some of them ripping each other apart.
Right.
That was an unexpected turn.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then the next page you have like this mega city where a guy's punching a robot in the face.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
even Dairy Bears, as you say,
yeah,
often turns very dark.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, in Helltown, I was just like, okay, this is kind of a story about a group of kind of like slackers who have a band, and then issue 8, I'm like, that happened.
Yeah.
And it's completely spiraled out of control. I love it. So yeah, it doesn't all, don't be listeners, read a few issues, and if you want to contribute, you can reach out to them. They're lovely people. So Dr. K and Mr. Chris, would y'all feel free to pimp your socials, and they tell us from the voice socials if you want, if you would select.
The only
Absolutely.
socials.
So,
Go for it, Chris.
yeah, I can be found as Chrissy Bubissi on Instagram, at Chrissy Bubissi. And Tales from the Void is available at globalcomics.com. And I guess I will turn it over to Dr. K for the Void Transmission.
Yeah. So for the Void Transmission, we are on Spotify. We're on a few other places as well, like Apple Music and iHeartRadio. But most of our listens come through Spotify, and it's just the Void Transmission. We come out every month interviewing the different contributors, trying to get to know them a little bit better. And then Tales from the Void is also on Instagram, and we have our Patreon.
Now, is it important to have void spelled with the 01?
It helps you find it
Okay.
on Spotify for sure.
Okay. Because I
And
wasn't sure if that carried around.
yeah,
Okay.
V01D.
And with that, dear listeners, you can obviously, if you're listening to this, you can listen to us as oh my god, I can't believe I completely just blanked what the hell our show's. We're only like 260 episodes in. Yes, thank you for listening to this week's episode of Talking Smack. You can find us on Facebook and Blue Sky at tsmackpod. You can join our Discord link, which is down below, which is tsmackpod@gmail.com. We'll, of course, have links to all the socials, where to find the Void Tales from the Void and the Void Transmission. And that's it for this evening, lovely listeners. But if I could ask you both, there is a certain special show that everybody should be watching. What is that?
Is that Star Trek?
Damn right it is. Talk to y'all next week. Bye.